Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Now today is the 26th of December, so Boxing Day. So happy Boxing Day if you're celebrating. If not, I hope you're having a good day anyway. Now the reason today is so significant is because it's day one of the World Rapid and Blitz Championships. So this is a very big deal in the chess world. You're having players like Hikaru Nakamura, Magnus Carlsen, Alireza Firouzja all playing in big games today. So it's round one. All the players want to start off well, try and get as many wins under their belt as possible. You don't want a slow start in this tournament. You really want to start well to give yourself the best chance of progressing far. So in today's video, what we're going to be doing is reviewing a few games from the biggest names in this tournament. So everyone currently has their eyes on Hikaru Nakamura, Magnus Carlsen and Alireza Firouzja. So what we're going to be doing is going over one of each of their games and see how they're getting on so far in this tournament. So to start off with, we have got Hikaru Nakamura going up against Mark Smirnov. Now I'm not going to lie, I'm not very familiar with this person from Kazakhstan. They're a FIDE master, so they're not a grandmaster. And before this game, so in Hikaru's first game, he got off to a draw. So he drew his first game, so ideally in this game, although he's got the black pieces, he would still like to try and get the win. So let's see if he can do it. So Mark starts off with e4, Hikaru plays d6, then we get d4, very instructive from Mark, just taking all the centre in which he can. And then Hikaru looks like he's playing some sort of modern line or something, I don't know. Can we find out what this is called? Who knows? I think I might have just spoiled the winner, but who knows. Anyway, so they bring his knight out. Hikaru, very cultured man, puts his bishop on this long diagonal. I mean, that just looks terrifying already, doesn't it? Then we get this bishop out. Pawn comes here, stopping the knight from jumping in. Queen comes forward. Knight comes over to this square. And then Mark lashes out with h4. Very terrifying move. When people play this against me, it's almost like they don't respect me. You know, they're just going to attack me. They know I can't defend it. I mean, it's obviously a bit different with Hikaru. You'd imagine he can probably defend it, but just from my experience. And as you'll notice, in these time controls, they get 15 minutes, and then for every move they make, they get plus 10 seconds. So there is a time increment. So after h4, we get h5. No one saw that coming, did they? Just completely stopping this pawn from progressing any further. Very instructive move. And then we get knight to h3. I would never find that in a million years. Not in a million, because I'm always told, right, never put your knights on the rim. What is it they say? Knight on the rim is dim. I'd never play it. Then Hikaru just takes even more space with the pawns. I mean, this is just mental, isn't it? The eval bar does not like it, okay? It's already given plus 0.7 for Mark Smirnov. Knight jumps in onto this square, looking pretty safe, because obviously Hikaru does not want to push his f-pawn here, because this skyrockets because of this move. Knight to e6, and obviously the queen is trapped. So you can't attack this knight with a pawn, okay? You play there, you lose your queen, okay? So, jumps in, Hikaru doesn't push his f-pawn, he's smarter than that. Brings his knight over to b6, we get a3, and then we get knight f6. So, they're just developing their pieces pretty normally. You know, getting all their knights out, the bishops are coming out. You'd imagine Hikaru's going to put his bishop on this long diagonal here at some point. Mark has control of the centre, but Hikaru is probably a little bit further ahead on piece development. So we get the move f3. God, it's actually the... Oh wow, it's the best. It's the best. Oh, second best. If you let Stockfish run, sometimes it works it out a bit better. So f3, second best move in this position. I guess it's just stopping the knight from jumping into g4, isn't it? Because you don't want to give Hikaru space because he will take it. Oh, and this is the first mistake of the game. This is a mistake from Hikaru. Why is e6 a mistake then? Well, I honestly couldn't tell you guys. If you're looking for a more in-depth review, click off the channel, okay? We're just trying to learn something here. We told you Hikaru would put his bishop on this long diagonal. But it does seem pretty blocked off at the minute because this is quite a strong pawn structure, isn't it? Just blocking it away. Eval bar still preferring Mark's position. Oh, knight d1. I guess trying to reroute it over to this area. I don't see why else he would have played it. Queen comes in front of the king. Yep, Mark obviously rerouting the knight. There we go, we're not completely stupid. And it looks like Hikaru's doing the same. Get some pawn pushes. Rook comes over, doubling up with the queen. Potentially just looking to trade off all these pieces. Mark takes even more space, and then Hikaru responds by taking... Oh, wow. Look at this. 4 pawns in a line here on the 6th rank. You never see that. But this position now is completely equal. Yep, they trade that off. God, this is... Hikaru always does this, man. He just always sneaks back into the game, doesn't he? Castles. Oh, and then looks like Mark's going for some sort of pawn break here. Just trying to weaken the king side. Hikaru backs the queen off. Mark brings the rook over. Knight comes in. Oh, needs to play... Wait, so this is the best move in the position, is it? B3, just kicking the knight away. I guess you'd have to come back here, wouldn't you? And then just trade it off. But then you give the queen and the rook this open file. So bishop comes back. Pawn takes, pawn takes, pawn takes. Everything's getting traded off and Hikaru has the advantage in that position. Knight comes over, probably going to put it on f4. Oh, and then queen here's a mistake. Why is that a mistake? I guess because you knight d4. And I guess the knight just, look, I'll draw the arrows, has control over all of these squares. I mean, look at that. Controls 8 squares when it's in the middle of the board. That's just terrifying, isn't it? Even if you are Hikaru. So that's a mistake, but Mark does not find it, and the position is still equal. Just reroutes this knight off the rim. Oh my god, this is a low-level game if you ask me. I mean, Hikaru's up a pawn, but this is apparently an inaccuracy. But it's strengthened by 2 pawns. Mark doesn't have any pawns to attack the knight with, so you can't kick it away. Looks pretty good to me, but he finds the great move, which is centralising his knight. Bishop comes over. Rook goes c1, which is a mistake. Rook e8. I guess just eventually putting pressure on this open file when all these free bishops get out of the way. Reroutes the knight, attacking this bishop. Imagine they trade off the bishops. Knight takes back. Oh my god, look at this pawn. This pawn's doing God's work right now. These 2 knights are insane. Queen comes forward. Oh, that's a big blunder. Oh, that's a big blunder. Oh, Hikaru doesn't find it. So in this position, bishop to h6. I mean, you're never going to find that though, are you? Just putting pressure on this diagonal is the best move. Hikaru brings his rooks over, so they're double stacked on the e-file. And then bishop comes here is a complete mistake. Oh my god, and then Hikaru finds bishop h6. Because if you move the knight, you just win a rook. So they take there, take back with the pawn. Has to move the knight, so I imagine, yeah, Hikaru takes the free rook. Queen comes over, and in this position, Mark just resigned because, I mean, what does the engine give it? -5 in this position. You're never winning from here, are you? I mean, I don't really know why, to be honest, but you're up a pawn, you're getting close to an endgame. This pawn structure is completely overrunning the king side. These 2 knights are an absolute joke. I mean, you're in check here, so what's your only move? Let's just say you play there. There's mate in 1, which is knight g3. Oh my god, because this knight here and here, here and here from that knight, and then the queen comes in to stop the king going to g1. Wow, that's a big win for Hikaru as well, because he drew the first game, so to get a win with the black pieces is massive. Okay, so we've seen Hikaru pick up a win in his second game, so he starts off 1.5 out of 2. Now, Magnus Carlsen also drew his first game of this tournament, so he ideally wants to get a win here. He's got the white pieces against Denis Kadrić, however you pronounce his name, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that, had to play Jan Nepomniachtchi in his first round, and then Magnus Carlsen in his second round. Who wrote this format? Because they have done this man very, very dirty. So Magnus with the white pieces, he starts with e4, then we get e5, knight f3, knight f6, so this sort of mirrored system, and then we get takes, pawn comes out, knight comes back, knight takes, other knight comes out, knight goes back. So they mirror at the start. Magnus Carlsen gets both knights out. Dennis takes a little bit of the centre with this move d6. So all relatively even so far. Magnus takes in the middle, Dennis gets the bishop out, bishop comes out, castles, pawn comes forward, stopping the knight jumping in. Then you get the rook coming over, and Magnus obviously castles because there is currently a discovered check. So if Magnus played a move like that, I guess the bishop can't actually move, but the idea is if you then play that, then it's big problem because of where can you go? You can go here, and this is obviously a free knight, but obviously this wouldn't happen. This is just hypothetical. And why it is important for Magnus to get rid of the discovered check. So knight comes out, rook comes over, then we get this move h6, which again stops this knight jumping in at any point during the game. a4, that's such a Magnus move, isn't it? Like, whenever I'm stuck in a position, I just go, what would Magnus do? He just throws pawn forward. He loves throwing these pawns up the board. Oh, obviously this pawn wouldn't go up like that, but like that. Yeah, he loves throwing his end pawns up the board. Stockfish also loves doing it as well. If you've ever played on like the, you know, you can play against the engines and you can put all the best moves in. They always love throwing their pawns up. So we get the bishop develop into f4, bishop goes back, then we get a rook trade. Queen goes up to d2, which I guess makes space for the rook to come over to e1, attacking the queen. Queen obviously slides out the way because you don't want to lose your queen to Magnus Carlsen. Bishop comes back. What? They're such subtle moves, aren't they? I mean, I'd never see that. I'd never think to play that. Knight bounces over. God, they love putting their knights on the end here. In this position, Dennis only has one move apparently, which is this move, knight in here. So let's say he played something like that. What have we got here? We've got b takes on d6. Oh no, they want h4 now. So what's this move? Bishop takes, and then I guess takes. No? Oh right, because takes. So what is the move here? Knight checking on h6. And then, can you go here, I guess? Queen g5. Oh my god, this is just terrifying, isn't it? So even though you were down a pawn, wow. Okay, so obviously you just get really quick development. So Dennis finds it. Knight comes in here. That's a terrifying move. So I presume, oh wow, the bishop doesn't take. What would happen if the bishop took? You just trade it off. So I wonder why they slid their king over. They must have seen something they didn't like in that line then. Queen comes up. Bishop. Oh, Magnus Carlsen finds a knight sacrifice. Sacrificing the knight, and if you take, there's this move, rook takes on e6, so you just win that bishop. So you are sacrificing the knight, but you win a bishop and you damage their pawn structure. So you take this bishop here, they've got double stacked pawns. Bishop, on the 6th rank, just attacking everything. You're going to get overwhelmed in that position. Oh my god, what a move. Magnus finds it, they slide their king over, so Magnus takes the bishop, takes the free pawn, they take a pawn. Sacrifices the rook. What on earth? Oh my god. And if you take back with check, king h8, and then what, knight e2? Oh my god, so you don't even really get that big of an advantage. So how Magnus found that, I have no idea. He doesn't even take back with check. Oh, then he takes with check. The knight jumps in. Oh, they bring their knight back, and the queen is now on the 7th rank, just attacking everything. Oh, rook a8. Magnus picking up the free pawns. Shuffles back. Knight comes in. Just wait, is it what? Oh my god, you can't take because wait, queen f6. Oh my god. This is such a high level game. You give a check, but you have a square to run to. Oh my god. Or you could even block with the bishop. And you're still up 8 points. Despite only being up, what, a pawn? Or, well, yeah, technically a pawn. Oh my god, that's insane. Gives the check. Takes the pawns. Just keeps checking. Oh my god. And in this position, they just resigned. Oh my god, what a game. I mean, they've got a queen and a rook. Magnus has a queen and a bishop. Granted, he's got... What has he got? He's got 6 pawns in comparison to 2. But, oh my god, he just dominated. Every move was just sublime, wasn't it? I mean, 96.6 accuracy. I want to go back to that brilliant move as well, where he just sacrifices the rook. Oh my god, takes the bishop, and doesn't even take the pawn straight away. Do you know how smart you have to be to calculate that? I'd instantly take the free pawn with check, just because you gain such an initiative, but he plays that move. That's crazy. Oh my god. So Magnus picks up a win in his second game and starts off the tournament 1.5 out of 2. So let's move on to Alireza Firouzja. So, game 3 of this review, we have Alireza Firouzja against Mr. Sadhwani. I'm sorry if I've butchered that name. Alireza won his first game, and so in his second game he's got the white pieces. As one of the favourites for this tournament, you've got to think he's feeling pretty good coming into this position. So, he plays f3 to start. We get d5, taking the centre. Pawn to b3 with ideas of putting this bishop on this very, very long diagonal. I can never draw arrows to save my life. Let's practice. Arrow. Oh, I'm not drawing arrows. Arrow. Arrow. There we go. See, guys, I can do it, so leave it out in the comments, please. We get the bishop developing, and then, yep, Alireza puts his bishop on this very long diagonal, and he puts his other bishop on the other very long diagonal, so just a complete zigzag of hell that you really want to avoid. Knight comes out, we get short castles from Alireza, bishop comes out, pawn comes out, eventually, I guess, looking for some sort of pawn break after the rook comes over, maybe, put the knight here. Yeah, I feel like it's going to be a real battle for this e4 square this game. Could be wrong. Nope, knight comes over, I guess trying to reinforce this square. Bishop goes back, rook comes over. Oh my goodness. Mr. Sadhwani just plays a stockfish move and decides, you know what, I'm bored, I'm going to throw a pawn down the board. So Alireza responds with a3, I guess just cutting off any sort of threats from this pawn charging down at the bishop. But the pawn charges down at the bishop anyway, I guess. Alireza just pushes his pawn, so I guess negating the bishop from coming here, but also this pawn can't take, and you don't trade it off. This pawn then decides, you know what, no, we are going to have issues on this side of the board, so just throws himself at him, attacking this pawn. Alireza goes, I'm not really in the mood to be hostile. Plays passive again, just pushes the pawn, doesn't want any trouble. Knight comes out, and then we get the eventual pawn break on e4. But now this time it's Mr. Sadhwani, who doesn't want any trouble, wants to play passively. He's scared, pushes his pawn. Knight comes out on this very safe square here. You know, it's covering all these beautiful dark squares in the centre of the board. Knight's doing a lovely job. This knight comes over, I guess looking to trade off knights. This knight comes back, so if you do take, you can take back and have a knight on this lovely square. But in this position we get this knight coming back, and then this pawn takes the space and charges forwards. And then we get the trade-off of the knights, but Alireza still has a lovely knight on this gorgeous square, defending this pawn here, really important. Queen comes over, so it's just another piece attacking this pawn. Bishop comes back, and in this position Sadhwani needs to play the great move, knight b6, to keep this position alive. So let's just say, what would I play in this position? Because there's no way on earth I'd find this move. Maybe I would actually. Now, you know what? I'm going to say I would, you know. But not for the reasons that they probably play it. Just because I'd want to just trade off the knights. But I guess that is the idea behind it, isn't it? Because it's such a strong knight on c4. So I'm going to say I would find that. And then Ali Reza, I wouldn't find that. I'd trade them off. I wouldn't find this. Puts his knight on this beautiful square. Can the bishop not just take? And then if you take like that, you're up a pawn. Is that not good? No, because let's move bishop taking on b7. Oh, I guess you're not up a pawn, are you? I didn't see that. Of course I didn't. Okay, so the bishop doesn't take. The knight jumps in onto this. Oh, this is such a gorgeous square, isn't it? I guess, because if you were to play here, they could play en passant. So you can't get a pawn to attack this knight because of the cultured move en passant. So queen comes out over, bishop comes forwards, which is an inaccuracy apparently, because of the move knight taking on f7. What? You can play that? How can you play that? And then bishop takes on... Oh my god, you're just completely overflowing. And then if you played a move like that, this obviously wouldn't happen, but it would be mate. And obviously the pawn can't take because the queen pins it to the king. Oh my god, that's glorious, isn't it? Wow. But in this position, we get... Blunder! Blunder, blunder, blunder! Because of this move. Nope. Because... Yeah, it is because of that, isn't it? No. What is it because of then? Oh, here. 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 D takes on c7. Oh yeah, you're hanging your queen, aren't you? Of course you are. God, I'm stupid. They push their pawn, attacking the queen. Queen comes back. They play there. Ali Reza has one move in this position to keep it equal, and that is taking here. And he does find it, so the position is still equal. Pawn takes back. Oh, this is awful on the king side, isn't it? I'd be so scared. Like, they are up a knight currently, but this pawn structure is awful. And you take with check here, block with the queen. I guess that's really instructive, isn't it? Because this queen defends this knight through the queen. So you can't play here because the queen just takes the queen. And it also blocks the check. So that is a very, very strong move. So they take the bishop. So Ali Reza's up a pawn. Rook comes over. Bishop comes into the fight. Oh my god, this is too complicated for me. And then Mr. Sadhwani has one move, which is to take the pawn. Is that not just a complete sacrifice? There's no way. They do find it. What? Is the queen... Why can't you play this? Because of king... Okay, so it's just a queen trade, so... Why is this... I don't understand. The king is safe though, no? There's no mate. Queen f3. I see, it's just a repeated moves, isn't it? So eventually it's a draw. Wow, so this rook sacrifice is Mr. Sadhwani offering a draw. Do you know how advanced that is? Sacrificing your rook is a draw offer. What? That's insane. Ali Reza says, no, I want to win this tournament. I'm here to win. So he trades off the queens and then makes an inaccuracy. Putting his rook on the 5th rank here is an inaccuracy because of this great move. What is the best move? Would it just be to trade them off and then maybe give a check? Yep, this seems to be good. Oh no, they like this. Okay. But in this position, Ali Reza doesn't trade off the rooks. He decides to double stack them. And then we get a trade off and the pawn is pushed. So it all looks very solid from Mr. Sadhwani. These pawns are completely... They're just perfect, aren't they? This is what you'd want, this sort of structure. It's like a fortress blocking these pawns from getting through. So this game will probably be won on the king side in this box. Okay, because this is a fortress over this side. Mr. Sadhwani offers a rook trade. King comes over, and then they get a rook trade. King is pushing forwards. Oh wow! Knight comes in. Oh, this knight is a game winner. This is probably move of the game. This just kills it completely. I mean, look at this. Just look at all that it controls, and down here as well. Oh my god. And you're never going to get rid of this knight, because the pawns that protect it are untouchable. Unless you were to somehow get your bishop in, like just random moves like this, and then just start taking. But even then, black is still winning. What on earth? Oh my god. King comes down, knight goes back up there, just attacking every pawn it can. Pawns on the king side are pushing now, knight's shuffling over. Pawns are being traded, and in this position, wow, Alireza just resigns. Why wouldn't you play on? I guess if you take, you're just up a pawn in this endgame. And at this level, if you're up a pawn, the game is as good as done. I mean, at my level, I could probably still sometimes win this like 3 out of 10 times, because you're just playing absolute morons. But at this level, they know how to win this position. I mean, this is not rocket science to them. They've played this thousands of times. So yeah, Alireza, first 2 games, wins 1, loses 1. Not the start you expected to see. But that's the thing, you just play so many games, it's not like 1 game a day and then prepare for the next one. I mean, these guys are playing 3-4 games a day. It's crazy. And as I'm recording this video, right, Magnus Carlsen is playing his 3rd round game against, who, I can't really see my TV, is it Gleb Dudin? I've never heard of these people, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, like, he's still playing his games. Like, this tournament it's so mentally draining. You're just playing game after game after game, and you have to start strong. You really do. It's crucial you start well. So yeah, that's going to do it for our day 1 recap. If you enjoyed this, please give it a like. Be sure to tune in. We're going to be reviewing this tournament as it progresses, and we're secretly rooting for Hikari. We want Hikari to do well, but you know, we'll keep that a secret. We're not meant to be biased here. But yeah, like I said earlier, it's Boxing Day, so hopefully you guys are having a good festive period. Leave a like on the video, comment, subscribe, all of that jazz, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.